Hello Internet. Today I'm going to carry on the Detective Notes project. I just couldn't leave it alone, so I've got to come back. It's quite early in the morning and I really want to find out if I can make this table work. So currently, what I've set it to do is currently if I push this button it'll bring up the list. But basically that's meant that I've now got a clickable area for all of these, and it says the name. I can actually make it say the number, but my priority is to change this table so that when I click it, it asserts facts. So I can say either this is true, false, or I don't know. Scarlet has, Scarlet doesn't have, or I don't know. Work it out from the rest of the information. So what I'll do is I'll be using the background CSS property to change whether I know those, and then it will be a T or an F or an underscore to say whether it's been able to calculate from everything else. So carrying on back to our code, we'll get rid of that alert, and we will need to now make this function do something more appropriate. And when we set the attribute, there are two. I think our function needs to take two properties. One of those properties is the card name, and I think the other property is the player name. So from the start, we have an array. We're already calculating. So this is left over from last week when we started this. We've now created all of this table and thrown it together with some hideous looping. And our card name. And the other thing we need to know is which player it is. Now I'm pretty sure we're just going through var I equals 0. I is less than the game.players.length. So our I here is the current player. So if I make our second parameter on this function, comma, plus I, that should get converted to a string without too much problem. So trying to read it around the edge of the line, but I'm pretty sure that's right. So we've got the quotes on the brackets, JavaScript void, and it's not alert anymore because we're going to make another function, and we'll probably just oh, that's right. Just go back, and this will be assert fact. So we're getting rid of the old fact system with the array. I'm probably going to need to actually delete that now. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm actually just going to get rid of that whole function, everything that refers to it. What has happened to my syntax highlighting? Okay, let's go to 0. And if we get rid of div facts, we don't need that either. We'll keep the events one for now. That will probably change at some point later. Who can remember some other people in here while I'm mildly distracted? We definitely have Mr. Green, don't we? So we'll have a green. We have a plum. And there's one more. Scarlet, white, mustard, green, plum, peacock. P-A-C-O-C-K. I'll fix the rims and weapons later. Just something I remembered here. And we'll get rid of the add facts thing. So it was add fact. So hopefully the things in there are only referred to here. And the other place it's needed is actually in the new game, where I actually assign player numbers to the select things. So where is new game? New game. Next. Here we go. Here's our function. So make select get element by, this is the fact area. That's all the fact area here, and that's the event area, so we're leaving that. So I think I can just go down here, delete all of that. Oh. And when I run this, no, not that one, this one. Controller, I no longer have the fact area. There's no complaint there, was there? Let's see. This is bringing up the console. No complaints. And this now tries to do assert fact, which isn't defined yet, because that's what I was trying to do before I got hopelessly distracted. Card event. Yeah, I think we'll do assert fact here. Function assert fact. It's going to sound silly. I've actually put them the other way around, but it feels better to have the player number first because it's stored in players and then by weapon, by card. So I have player and card, and let's go back and see if we can find the other place that says assert fact. Probably here. And if we swap these round, so it's now assert fact, close quote, I, space, comma, and then that quote comes in, and we get rid of everything up to that quote. That should still do that. And I'm just going to put a console log and make sure I've got the right information from them before I start doing weird stuff. So where's my assert fact? Here it is. So if we just put console.log player card, this should probably mean missing bracket after argument list detective. Oh yeah, that's not that surprising to have a mistake there. Again, it'll players table. The other place is wasn't it? So bracket is in there. I is there. JavaScript assert fact I. Comma makes, oh, this should be a plus. And that would explain why that was complaining. So, oh, I thought I'd be clever and it didn't work. Still a problem. Still at line 184. Right. There. Okay. Still at line 184. This is line 184, isn't it? I can't see line numbers. Sorry, I used to have this tell me my line numbers. Comma here. That bracket meets there. Yep, this is 184. So I. Oh, there it is. Same basic problem. A plus again. So now when we refresh, new game, they're all there, no complaints. And now if I click on this, we should get a log, unterminated string literal. Where's that happening? It's probably trying to do the the assert fact method that's still got a mistake in it. JavaScript assert fact I, comma. Oh, yeah, there's the string that's not unterminated, because I took that out before. Okay. Oh. Why did I just hit caps lock? And here we're going to put close quote. That should allow this to work properly. And then we get a console log of 1, and then Scarlet. So that's the player number. And if I clicked here, it would be 0 Scarlet. 0 Mustard. So we've got the information we need for our asserting facts. And now instead of logging that, we can look at the game dot players. Now, instead of using, I'm actually going to change this really badly. I decided instead of having 2 tables, I was just going to use the 1 table. This table will now store the ones that are definite facts, and it will store the ones that are not. And what I'm going to do is a -2 is definitely false. A -1 is false but calculated. 0 is definitely, it's still undefined. 1 is true but calculated, and 2 is asserted true. So when we click it, we can actually change the numbers on that table to go between those states. We'll still use undefined and 0. We'll leave undefined because they're still in an array, and undefined comes for everything you haven't actually asserted yet. So I will need to do that. At least read undefined. But our priority here is to make sure we know. In fact, it's probably going to be -2, -1, undefined, 1, and 2. The game dot players. Oh, type visual. And at this point, it's player, and then card. Aha, good. So here, val there, val equals. That wasn't quite what I want. It's got to be more like that, and then put it in semicolon, and the game.players. So now we've got the value. We can do a quick thing on if val equals 2, val equals -2. Aha. I was going to then have underneath here if val equals -2, but I can't do that, so we'll have it here. If val equals -2, I think we should use triple equals just as a safety here. Val equals undefined defined. This is actually a little bit tricky because I need to make sure it's everything else. So I think I'm going to actually have to use an else anyway. Else. And we'll do the last one in an else if. No, there's no if. I'm going to set val equals 2. And the last thing we're going to do at the end of this is we're going to do a recalculate table. The problem with putting them in the table like this is, well, we're still going to do a recalculate table, whatever it is. Is it draw table? No, it's get calculate table. So by asserting facts in this way, we're going to have a bit of a challenge. So we run calculate table. Oh, here's another reference to the facts. The game.facts still exists, but has never been set by anything. So we're not working with those anymore. Instead, we're going to go through the table, and anything that is not, so for p in, oh, I might have to go in a second. It sounds like my kids are starting to make some noises. For p in the game.players, because we need to, basically the first thing we're going to do is we're going to unassert everything that is not yet defined. So this is just going back to only the facts which are asserted facts by people. Their player equals their game.players. The game.players at p. And then it's for c in player. Should probably put the word var here as well. And in here, we can now say if player, no, if sorry, that's my kids outside. I'm going to actually have to go, I think. Now, if player at C equals does not equal to and player at C does not equal -2, and we'll need to wrap that as well. We wrap that, and we're saying if it's not asserted fact, then player C equals undefined. Now our calculate things needs to work slightly different, and our draw table needs to look slightly different, because now we're no longer looking. Let's change our draw table. In draw table, we had a thing. Oh yeah, here it is. Inner. So now this is, it's greater than. We actually have 5 cases, and I actually do want to do something for all of those cases. If val is equal to 2, so this should now be is greater than 0. And for less than that, that should be less than 0. If here it's equal to 2, then the thing we want to do is td.style.background equals, and I'm pretty sure we can say color. No, I think we can just write the color, right? Green. That might work. We won't be able to see that for a minute anyway, but -2, and we'll change that to red. And so now we need to find every true and false. With our calculate event method, so has learned equals false. If has learned is false, no, that's fine, that stays the same, that is false. If cval equals true, if cval is greater than 0, hey there, I'm afraid it's locked right now. Is greater than 0, return has learned. Greater than 0 is of course our, now any true value is greater than 0. And instead of setting it to true, we're now going to set it to 1. And has learned is that. And in this case, we're setting things to false, so we can set them to -1, and Did we ever do a thing where we set all the other cards to false in here? Because we need to do that with our true asserts anyway. EC as cards. C player. If undefined, C player equals 1. Return true. I'm going to leave it like this and see what we get. New game. Oh, yeah, let's change it to a 3-player game. New game. Now when I click on it, nothing at all is happening here. Did a calculate event happen? I need to refresh. Okay. Now new game. Now when I click on this, did something happen? Okay, 10. Undefined equals 1. For I is has learned so the idea is if you weren't a responder, we would set your, if it's undefined we would do that, but otherwise the player at the card becomes false. But if we find that you do have it, return true. And that's the only place where we actually set any ones we've got. We don't have a true that's already been found. When we do this, we also need to loop through and set everything that's not a -2 to a -1. But I'll come back to that because currently I'm not getting any redraw on those clicks. Is that just because I thought calculate table had a draw table at the end? It definitely does. So at the end of my... Oh! This is me being dumb. It's no longer... I can't actually set... I'd have been alright. The order didn't actually matter because I could work with this. By taking it out into a val, I actually meant that equals 2, yeah? No, for 2 we're going to undefined. So actually the order was irrelevant here because I was setting val and val wasn't what I needed to be setting. So the game.players player card. And again the same here. And that might actually mean this works now. Control R. New game for 3 players. Hit that. So now we've got a green true there. If I click on it again, we now have a red false, and then we're back to undefined. And I can establish these. Now I'm currently not using the trues that are already down to create any asserts on the table. But that is definite progress. We can see the true that's established, or a false that's established. And later on we'll be able to see some trues as well. So if I work with this, add the event, we didn't learn anything specifically. But if I add hall to that with a 0, we should get something like add event. We get the important information. And if I know that this guy has white, then I'm sure that that would make some difference to the calculations. Good. So the table is kind of working. I'm going to have to fix those colors at some point later. That will probably wait for the next episode. Oh, do ask if you want me to make any kind of project, any kind of small project you want to do. I'll be quite interested in a couple of coding challenges. I might work in JavaScript or Golang or some other language for the effect, but I'm going to keep working on this. For now, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will get there at some point now that this table is moving. I have places to be and stuff. So, like and subscribe. See you soon. Matt signing out.